Well, the weather for the whole of the south of England will continue as it has for the next few weeks. It's going to be hot and moist, with temperatures rising steadily as time goes on. There's a chance of steamy moments as we move into the... sod it. We never wanted to do this. We never wanted to be weathermen and women making innuendos about hot atmospheres and drizzly countries. We didn't want to be child-friendly. We didn't want to bang on about being for over 18s only. We want to talk about our sexy adventures. We want to be lifestylers, leaping from bush to bush as we sail down the rivers of British sex clubs and mountains of crazy experiences. The cheeky purple mamba, the liquid silk pumped liberally into our hand, the rodeo classic brief harness complete with Tantus curve, the Enjoy Pure One stainless steel dildo, the hot octopus digit, the ever so short messages on Fab Swingers, the sexy friends on Twitter, and the mighty vanilla alternative. With my best girlie by my side, we'd swing, swing, swing.
Get in the gym or to your car. With our advice, you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. And talk about our sexy dates. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well, 'cause it's bed hopping time.
Hello and welcome to the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H.
I'm Mrs. H.
This is episode 121.
1-to-1.
1-to-1. So very appropriately, we're going to be whispering in your ears, though it's more like 2-to-1, depending on how many people you got in the room.
There's a lot of people in this ratio.
No, there's not really. I mean, there's us, two of us,
Yes.
and then presumably one or maybe more listeners.
Right, I would assume so.
So 2-to-1. Yeah, the one listener.
Oh,
we are
God.
talking directly to you.
This sounds like a terrible maths problem.
Does it?
What was the name of the train driver if a train was going 70 miles an hour? 3 people get on at Cardiff.
Steve. His name was
5
Steve.
people get off at Exeter.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, good grief. You're going to be like this all the day.
Yes.
All the time and all
You
the day.
got me all giddy.
Got you all giddy?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, first thing I want to say, I want to make an announcement.
Okay.
Yeah. The social, the Bed Hoppers
yes.
Social 2.0 is completely and utterly sold out.
It's ram sold out.
And it's going to be on the 4th of Feb.
Yes.
So a week from when this podcast comes out.
Oh, my God.
It might not be a week from when you're listening. It might even have happened
No.
by that time.
Oh, God, it might be next year.
Might well be. You're in the future. Welcome.
Yeah.
Is coronavirus still a thing for you in the future?
Oh, fucking hope not.
Probably. Anyways, it's completely sold out.
Yes.
We've got our Discord running. We've opened the sexy pics in there.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I am really excited about this.
There's some really sexy people in there. It's so exciting.
A whole load of
Yes.
sexy people in that
Everyone's
chat.
very excitable.
We're playing the game of lifestyle thing in there where people are doing the question cards every other day or so. People are joining in with the conversation. It's all starting to heat up.
Everyone's getting their outfits ready.
Yeah, it's happening next
Including
week
me.
for us. Well, we're nearly outfit ready, which is cool.
Nearly.
We're kind of, most of the stuff is assembled
Yeah.
or the concepts have been agreed and approved
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
us mostly.
Mhm.
We've got food sorted out. We've got the way it's going to work. We've got the venue locked down. Well, we had that lockdown ages ago,
Yeah.
but it's all ready to rumble. So please join us in crossing your fingers and hoping that it all goes well and that everyone has a marvellous time. I'm sure it will,
It'll be fabulous.
but we just got to get there.
And then on to the next one.
Yeah, on to
because then we'll just get crack straight on with organising another one.
Yeah, we'll just, we'll do that. But, I might need a little bit of a rest because there is a lot of running around to do
There is.
in the next week or so. So
We've got this.
if we disappear off social media, who am I kidding?
It's
I'll never leave
unlikely.
social media.
I was going to say, in what universe are you ever going to leave social media for more than an hour?
Seems unlikely. Well, I did post a picture of me,
No
right,
shit.
of us, right? I know. But
Did you have your mouth open?
No, I didn't. It's like in a rare, non-Muppety picture, I didn't have my mouth open.
Oh, my goodness.
And that picture has done amazingly well, right?
Wait, so hang on. Is this maybe telling you that it's possible for you to take a picture with your mouth closed that is actually pretty popular?
Yeah. Well, this is news to me, but also
How
I like
is it
to...
news to you? Maybe you should close your mouth for pictures more often.
No, that's never going to happen. That's never, ever going to happen. So the other thing that I want to remind people of, or gentle listeners of, is that we are heading towards PCAP. Now, this is over 50% sold out.
Yeah. I mean, it might even be more by the time you listen to
Probably
this.
more. I mean, I doubt they've gone down at all in ticket sales.
no.
So it could only have got better.
It sounds like it's going to be a really sexy event.
It sounds amazing. We've heard about the themes. Can't reveal them to just anybody. No. They are amazing. Very inventive, very creative.
I shall go into overdrive panicking about them now.
We'll give it some consideration after the social. That's a problem for future us's.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. But if you want to go along to PCAP, and you really should, especially if you're in the States and it's convenient, bloody hell, you might as well just get on
do it. Just go.
I don't know, they have buses. Yeah, they have buses, don't they? Greyhounds or whatever.
Maybe.
Get on a bus, get on a train, get on a plane, whatever it is, walk.
Yeah.
Come see us at PCAP. Or other people. There's other podcasters there. I mean, don't just rely on us to entertain you, but we'll do our very best.
Come and see Mr. H's constantly open mouth.
Yes, that's right. But to do that, we're going to put some links in the show notes, and click on those links.
Yeah.
Click on those links.
And it's at the end of May.
Yeah.
For 4 days.
In Palm Springs.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
It's going to be amazing.
Done it. Okay.
Right.
So, what are we talking about today, Mrs. H?
We have gone to our first club since before the dark times.
Before the pandemic.
Yeah. So we haven't been to a club. Since before the pandemic started. Because obviously everything shut down for a while.
Yep.
And even when things did open tentatively with much reduced capacity, I understand, across the club industry, we still didn't really feel comfortable returning for a while. I think that's fair to say, isn't it?
I think that's very fair to say.
And so we've waited and waited until restrictions have gone. Like they've literally gone now.
Well, if you can get away with having a party at number 10, then...
Well, yeah, even if you don't know it's a party, you only stay for 25 minutes.
And it's a work event.
Or and there's
political.
Just cheese and wine.
Yeah.
Then if you can get away with that, then surely.
Surely a club visit is okay at this point, like a year or 2 years later.
Correct.
We should be all right.
We finally decided to take the plunge and go back to one of our favourite clubs.
Yes.
Which is Vanilla Alternative.
It is. So we went back there, and this is going to be a podcast of two halves.
Two halves.
Yeah. Firstly, we're going to talk a little bit about the club and what it was like going back, what our thoughts are on the club, have they changed since we went?
Yep.
And then we're going to talk about the people we went with and
what happened.
Oh, such a tease. Oh my, I've gone all teasy now. Yes. But first, the club. So we went back, right? And we stayed. We booked a room there.
So the first thing then, have the rooms undergone a bit of refurbishment since it's been closed during pandemic?
Well, I only saw 2 rooms.
Well, we have seen a number of rooms in the past.
But we only saw 2 on the night.
We only saw 2 on the actual night.
Now, I couldn't comment on the quality of all of the other rooms because, we didn't go to everybody's room. But our room was, that would have been a hell of a night. But our room was very nice. We went for a super duper big room. And that's not the official name, but it's the most expensive room because, splash that cash.
But it seemed like it had really gone through some rigorous kind of cleaning. And
it looked very neat, very tidy.
It looked actually like it had been refurbed to me.
Yeah, and it felt like a really nice room.
It was a nice room.
What I will say, it was fucking cold when we went there.
Oh my days.
Fucking freezing.
And obviously I've been hot for like 3 years now.
Hot since the menopause. You've been hot for as long as I've known you.
Yeah.
You may have been hotter before, I don't know.
Thanks. However, even by my standards, it was fucking freezing. It chilled as soon as we walked in. It was very, very cold.
It did. Now, it had radiators in there, but I don't think the radiator that was in that room was working.
I think this was the fault, really.
But it also had like a little electric plug-in radiator thing, which was pumping out like tons of warm air, but it went like half a metre at the top of it, and then it just disappeared. I mean, it was air, so you couldn't really see it. But it just was quite cold in there.
Maybe this was the haunted room that you refer to.
Maybe it could have been.
Maybe it was the chill of ghosts.
It could have been. It was more likely the chill of non-insulated rooms, I suspect.
Perhaps, yeah.
We had a ginormous bed.
We really did. It was a big 4-poster with a great big sort of iron frame. A huge bed.
Very big bed.
Yeah.
Just in case, because you never know.
Well, I applaud them putting a very big bed in this room.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
And worth bearing in mind, this is a good plot point for later, it had a very big mirror.
It did have a ginormous... Well,
I really enjoyed that mirror.
If you've been on the Twitters and spotted us in the last week or 2, you may have seen pictures that were taken in that mirror.
That mirror did form quite a central part of my enjoyment that night.
Did it? It saw some shit, that mirror.
It really did.
It did.
What if it's a 2-way mirror?
What, into the bathroom?
I don't know.
How?
Who
Why?
knows? Either way, It's a brilliant mirror.
Yes.
Loved it. Well done, VA, for putting that mirror in there.
Yes, good mirror work, skills thing.
Yes. But
Anyways,
please sort your heating out.
so if you go to VA and you're staying in a room, you get in there about 5 or so.
Yeah.
But the club itself doesn't open until around about 9.
That's right.
So really, you're kind of in there just getting ready, chilling out. And we'll talk a little bit about what we did later on. But we chilled out, had some food, and then we went downstairs as soon as we could, as soon as it opened,
Yeah,
really.
and it's also worth bearing in mind there's not really a lot around the area to go and eat, potentially.
Yeah, there's there's not a great selection of things to do in the immediate vicinity, not within like 5 minutes. It's like 10, 15-minute journey, but then you're going away from the club. And once you're in, you're kind of in, really. So one thing you do is if you are staying at VA, you pay for the room, but then you also have to go to reception when you start and swipe a card or pay for the actual trip to the club itself, right?
Yeah, and you get like a locker key as well, don't you, which you can use to buy drinks at the bar with.
Yeah.
And also you can put your clothes in the lockers for later if you want to use the wet facilities.
Yeah. So that much in itself hasn't really changed.
No.
What I would say is do remember to pay the bill off before you leave for the evening. Otherwise, someone will knock on the door.
They'll find you.
Yeah, they will find you and ask you to pay for the bill, which is fine. And that person has clearly seen some shit with an amount. He's probably seen a large amount of dong sort of as he knocks on the door and gets things open. So anyway, just a reminder, if you are going there, do pay off your bar tab or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it has a lovely, really nice bar on site. But pay it off before you go to bed.
Yeah.
It's a sensible thing to do. If you can remember to go to bed, that is. So looking around the club, it had changed quite a bit and it had quite a refurb since we were there last.
Yeah.
Now, if you're familiar with VA, we'll try and sort of describe it as to what it used to be like.
Oh, good luck with that.
Well, a few rooms have swapped around. So there used to be a BDSM sort of area.
Oh, as you walked through from the reception through to the main bar area, yes, there used to be a little BDSM sort of area with a number of things that you could interact with.
Hang on, your sense of direction on this. Is, as you walk through the hotel part.
Oh, that's what I meant.
To the bar, yes. Not reception where you come in at the front.
No.
So you've ruined it for everybody now.
I haven't.
I know, go to the corner and think about what you just said.
Okay, I'm already in the corner.
All right, good. Nobody puts wifey in the corner. So if you're coming down from the hotel bit,
that's what I
the
meant.
first room used to be a BDSM room. It has now been changed into a sort of couples area with sofas and some beds and some sort of benches, and it's got one of those sort of S-curve type type sofa things in there.
Very smart.
Very smart. It's been done up. It looks quite nice. It's quite comfortable. As you go further in, I think there's a new bed on the right-hand side in a sort of corridor area.
Yeah.
Quite a large bed that you can fit quite a few people on, I imagine. The lockers area has moved from the right-hand side and is now next to the hot tub area.
Yes.
And it's also a thoroughfare to get to the new outdoor area. Now, the outdoor area is not open during the winter months.
No, because it's really cold.
Yes, it is. But if you go outside, if you're there during the summer, you can go through and there's like a big ginormous sort of tub thing that's out there and lots of seating and all that kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah, it looked huge. We did have a quick look at it, didn't we? But we didn't venture out into it. We just had a quick look from the patio door bit.
But the couples lockers are now conveniently next to the hot tub area.
Yeah, and I guess that's really easy for the summer months because then you're not traipsing through the whole club to go and get changed, are you?
Exactly that. And as you get through to the bar, now on the right-hand side, what used to be my favourite area of VA, which was the library area, which is kind of like a little bit sort of curtained off sort of sofa area where it's a little bit quieter and you could sit down and just have a bit of a chat. That's now become a raging dance floor.
Raging.
Well, there are people dancing in it. I don't know whether they're raging.
They've done away with the big comfy settees there and what was kind of like, I think there were like flagstones and like a hearth and it looked like a little nook, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like a little library.
Yeah. And now that's, as you say, relocated. There's a different chill out area and this is all a dance floor.
Yeah. And there's a big like DJ booth there.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. So that's if you go right. And if you go left, there's a sort of little seating area and a little sort of bits around the bar where you can sit down and chill out.
Yeah, there used to be a podium there, didn't there, for a pole on it?
Yeah.
I think that's moved or gone.
I didn't see if there was a pole, to be honest.
There was more tables.
Yeah, more tables. But then as you go further that way, then there's what used to be the couples area has now become the BDSM area and has like a cross on it. It had a glory hole in there. It had a swing. It wasn't particularly like fenced off, I'd say. It was pretty much...
It was accessible.
Like a little area. Yeah.
You didn't have to like open a hidden door to get in or anything. It was, you could see it was visible what was in there. The bar is in exactly the same place though. That's all the same as it was.
Yeah, really the biggest change is the locker rooms have moved around. The BDSM is now the couples area and the couples area is now the BDSM area. It's all been done very nice. It looks very good. The couples area apparently on a Friday is just for couples, but on a Saturday when they don't allow single guys into the place, as far as I know, then everyone can walk freely across the whole place. So there's no sort of rules around where you're allowed to travel on a Saturday night. So I really did miss this library area because it was like a nook. And I'm going to mention this time and again because I loved, that was my favourite bit of VA, that you could snuggle in there and just chill out and just have these conversations. Now, the other area, the new couples area, does have a nice little sofa and stuff in there and some space where you can sit down. And we did spend a large chunk of time that we did spend in the club in that little couple section.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel as snug. It didn't feel like you could have private conversations so much. And it did feel like people were coming in and sitting down and sort of listening to our conversations.
And I guess maybe the layout of a room does invite conversation from lots of different people, because you're right, there's no particular closed off little kind of area. And the previous area, I think, where the settee placement was, you could kind of all combine on one settee and have a little confab together. Yeah. And then there'd be another settee with another little group could sit on. Whereas this was there were chairs dotted around so people could just come and sit in front of you and wander around. It felt a bit more open, I think.
Yeah, it was a bit more open and it felt a lot more designed so that if you wanted to have sex in that area, you could.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the main selling point of that particular piece now, is that it's less talky, more fucky, which is fine. But I like to have some conversation. I like to have that interaction, and it didn't feel as though the club had that area so much anymore.
And I think what I liked about the previous bit, sorry to harp on about that, but I actually liked the fact that it didn't feel like a sex club.
Yeah,
you kind of walked in and thought, oh, this is actually really nice. And it didn't freak me out and think, oh, God, what have I walked into? Because I don't actually personally like that vibe. I think some people do, absolutely, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, as a newcomer to a club, at one point, I actually felt a lot more at ease.
I like to feel like I'm in a knockoff Hogwarts while I'm sat in a sex club.
But I felt a lot more at ease the first time I walked in there, because it didn't scare me, because there was that kind of vibe to it that led me to feel like I could go at my pace and I didn't have to immerse myself immediately in open play areas with balls slapping everywhere.
Well, that's the other thing that I want to come on to. So we went on just a regular Saturday night. There was no event on per se, no takeover or anything like that.
No.
But whilst it wasn't sort of rammed throughout the corridors, every available space, by the time it got to, I don't know, 11?
Yeah, 11-ish,
10, 11, was taken.
Yeah.
Was literally filled with people going at it pretty much. And the hot tub was absolutely filled at that point. So and the couples area, I think if you were to stay in that piece and try and have a conversation, it would have been a little bit awkward because there were just people having sex. And at one point, this couple came down and literally started trying to have sex while I was chatting to somebody. And I think the conversation on my voice put them off, and they promptly shifted and moved away from the area.
And I think maybe they did that because there wasn't any other
space.
Area
oh yeah,
to
there's a free space here next to this sofa. We're going to take it and get down to dirty business. And there's Mr. H yapping on, about various other things. But it was something that really struck me about the venue, particularly because they've added, it felt like lots more beds and little areas, and there's corridors and nooks and all this sort of stuff. There's still no privacy, which still doesn't sit quite well with me.
I agree.
Particularly when it was so busy. I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel like people were stopping and staring or anything like that, but it just felt like there was a lack of privacy. Now, one of the things I said to you, Mrs. H, was, what about in the play area? Because there is a sort of play area with lots of sort of leathery beds in there. If each of those had like net curtains around it, just so there was an element of
privacy. If you
privacy, yeah. It didn't have to be a lot, but just a slight blocker to the outside world. I think if we weren't staying there,
yeah,
because you can take people up to your room, you've got to kick them out before closing time. But if you've got a room, then it's much easier because you can go up to that, and that's a private area. It's your area, your space. But if you didn't have that, I would be quite reticent, I think, to play unless it was quite quiet or the circumstances were really right. So I kind of felt a bit like I was really glad that we had that room. I think if everyone had agreed, and we'll come on to everyone, that they wanted to play downstairs, I'd have probably thrown a bit of a strop.
So I think it's funny that there's a bit of an underlying assumption maybe from club owners then that people who go to a club for adult entertainment are all comfortable playing, in full view. And that's not the case, and I did have a little walk around with one of the people that we went with, and we did have a little look around, and it was her first club visit. And she was a little bit, it's a bit of assault on the senses. It's quite visceral if you haven't encountered a club before and you're nervous. And that's understandable. We were nervous as hell the first time we went to a club.
Totally.
And it is a little bit of an assault on the senses if you're not feeling 100% confident about things. So it would be nice for there to be some slight areas of not locked doors, but privacy.
Yeah.
So you could just tuck yourself away a little bit and not be kind of overlooked by everybody that went past.
It felt a bit like every area was designed to be on show.
Yeah.
And I get that's probably the design of what they've done and what the owner is going for. I understand that. But it just didn't quite fit in right. Strangely enough, though, playing in the hot tub, I'm fine with.
Mm-hmm. But maybe part of you can submerge yourself under the water if you need to. You don't have to wander around with your peen out.
Metaphorically and literally. It was an interesting thing. And I think just walking around, I've gotten used to the idea of clubs and playing in an open environment. But I did feel a bit uncomfortable with the level of just general ball slappery, as you say, around. So I don't think it's a massive detriment to the club because I still think it's decorated very well. The bar was still very good. The people there that run it were very good and very helpful. And everyone was very friendly and the atmosphere was good. It just felt a little bit exposed for me. And I kind of wanted just a little shield from the elements. And I was so glad that we had this room. And, it could have been anyone that had the room really, but we were fortunate in that we had a nice big room and we had music and we had all this sort of stuff.
And all our little accoutrements that we want to enhance our play session. You don't want to drag it all downstairs with you necessarily, do you?
Well, no, but by the same time, it just felt that having that room and the ability to shut the door and just create our own little environment to play in felt really cool. And I that's much more about my preferred style. So what I would say is if you're going to VA for the first time, or it's a first club experience, just keep in mind that it's very open, that you are exposed effectively, but it's not awful. It's just if that's not your natural style or natural thought process, then you may struggle a little bit with that.
I mean, conversely, you might just want to go to a club like that just to take in the scenery and watch people have sex openly. And that might just be what you want to get from your club visit. Yeah. Because you could ask yourself, well, if you really don't like playing openly in, crowded places, and why go to a club? And yes, the answer is sometimes it's actually just quite interesting to sit back and watch, be a spectator to that. Yeah. And then you don't have to play. You can just enjoy what you see. Yeah. And that might be all your takeaway from that club.
I think it's a good place to go and do that and have a look around. It's a very, very safe environment.
Oh, I felt safe the whole night. I would 100%
People were
agree with that.
Very, very respectful. There were no incidents whatsoever, and that felt really good. That there was no inappropriate touching, no whatever. It all seemed very above board, as above board as it gets for a club.
Yeah, I would agree.
So for that reason, it was very good. But it was just the level of exposure. It just wasn't my personal preference. So just if you're going, keep that in mind. I still think it's probably the best club that we've been to.
I still maintain it is, and I haven't. Bear in mind, I haven't seen any of our clubs yet, and I don't know if any of the others have had a significant refurbishment as well, which might have made their environments a bit more nice, maybe. But, we're yet to see.
Maybe that'll be something that we do as the year progresses, hopefully, fingers crossed and all that. Yeah. So the other thing that we wanted to talk about, obviously, we've talked about the club itself.
Yeah. What did we get up to?
What happened on the night?
Wow.
Well, okay.
So we have obviously talked to all parties we went with, and
Yes.
everyone's very happy for us to talk about this.
We have the consent.
We do.
And we also have audio clips.
Of questionable quality, I'm sure.
Well, before we lure you in with all of this talk of sexy times and all this sort of stuff, what I will say is that recently, using the money that we got from our patrons, thank you patrons or Patreons or however we say it, I was able to purchase some microphones, some new mics, which let me wander around and record people and wirelessly capture sound, which is fantastic. And so I thought, what better way to test this roaming reporter concept than our first trip back to VA? So we took the mics with us and we captured a bunch of audio clippings while we were there. So I think we've got a few to play for you in a bit, and we'll play that stuff for you. And then if you stick around to the end, then you might hear a little bit about the morning after the night before as well, just as an extra bonus feature to you, gentle listener.
Oh, yes.
Can't say further than that, can you really?
Can't.
But patrons, thanks to you. You guys fucking rock. You are awesome. We salute you. And thank you very much for giving us some cash to allow me to spend it on funky gadgets like microphones.
Putting it back into the show.
Exactly. And if you want to invest more, I mean, I would love to get like a mobile studio. So I just need 2 more mics to do it.
I thought you were going to say mobile disco. Then.
Mobile disco, no. A mobile studio. And then I can go around and we can have mobile foursomes.
Oh my God.
This sounds amazing. If you want us to have mobile foursomes, please sign up to a Patreon.
I'm not sure I endorse this project.
This is a great project.
Unless you're going to provide some kind of toasted sandwich arrangement.
They will have dead kittens on them. Dead kittens, by the way, are the little fluffy things that sit on top of the microphone.
Yes, but what about toasted sandwiches?
We can get toasted sandwiches. That's fine. Yeah, okay, right, cool. Anyway, please, if you're a patron, thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. You are awesome. And if you're not one, that's okay. But if you'd like to chuck us some cash and help us buy more shit that we can use to provide you with more shit, then, check the links on the description and that'd be great. Even if you only do it for a couple of months, that's still cool.
Wonderful.
It's wonderful. Even if you only do it once, that's still nice. We love you still. That's okay.
We do.
Yeah, exactly. And if you just want to send us gifts in the post, please don't do that. That's weird.
Okay. I was thinking about that then. I was like, no, I think I'd accept gifts.
You would? Okay,
yeah,
fine.
Maybe. Pokemon ones.
No, we're not doing that. We're just going to get weird things sent to us.
What have we got next?
We are talking about what we got up to. So our trip to VA was kind of organised, I guess, suggested by, brought on by the delightful Penny Lane and Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Them of Olive Gate and Pizza Gate. And
yes.
She's Not With Me Gate.
Badge Gate.
All of those things. They said that they were going to they wanted to go to a club.
Yeah.
Their first club visit.
Yeah.
So they got in touch with us. Strangely, and asked if we wanted to come along.
Which, of course, we were delighted.
Yeah,
because we've been thinking about going to a club for a while, and we think it's always more fun to go with people you know.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So we had that in the diary for a while, and then I don't know, 3 days, 4 days before, we found out that Clipbang and her other half, Essex Prize, and Slutty Pants and her other half, Mr. Slutty Pants, were going to come along to VA.
The more the merrier.
This sounded fantastic. However, one of them ended up with the vid.
Yeah, with the Rona. So Clipbang and Essex Sprite weren't able to attend. But we missed them. We tried calling them on the night to send them some video, but they didn't answer. Oh, I think the next day they appreciated it.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. The deluge of pictures and naughty comments that they got sent the following day probably made them kick themselves.
Yeah.
But the good news is that they are on track to go to our social. So they'll be fine by the time that comes around. Fingers crossed.
The still good news is that Mr. and Mrs. Slutty Pants were able to make it.
Yes. Yes, they were. So we rocked up because we booked a room and Penny Lane and Star-Lord booked a room.
Yeah.
And we rocked up about 6 o'clock-ish, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Finally managed to get in.
Into the very cold room.
And we had a room picnic.
I do love a room picnic.
It's wonderful having a room picnic. So we brought some drinks, they brought some drinks, and we brought some snacks and food and bits and bobs.
Yeah.
And we just chilled out for a good couple of hours with some music playing, eating bits of food, just catching out and chilling out. And I think, that helps with nerves. And if it's your first club visit, having someone that's been there and can talk your ear off can sometimes be a really useful tool. At least that's what I'm convincing myself that we did.
Yeah. And we've done this in the past with clubs, haven't we? We've kind of elected to just hole ourselves up in our room and have a little bit of a floor picnic.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fun. And you guarantee that you don't overeat too much, and you don't want to be all sort of like nervous. It's just a nice way of having a little, social time before you get into the club.
Yeah, and we did manage to drink a bunch of espresso martinis before we headed downstairs. And this really nice Prosecco, it was like a Prosecco with
like a
porn star martini Prosecco thing. It was great. Loved that.
All very awesome.
I mean, the company was really nice as well, but, but we just had a nice chat. We were just chilling out. And then we had like half an hour, 45 minutes just to get ready.
Yeah, which is perfect.
And then we went downstairs.
And again, this is another question which frequently comes up. The kind of, what do you wear? What do you wear to a club? Knowing that you're obviously going to an establishment which is, you're ultimately going to have a sexy night. That's your hope.
Yeah.
You're kind of going to dress in mind thinking, I want to have a really fun, sexy night, but I also don't want to immediately go downstairs and look like I'm just looking for sex right now. But you also want the option to kind of dress down a little bit later. So I often find that I'm constantly in this, like, what do I do? Do I wear my underwear under the dress, and do I take my dress off when I'm down there later on, or what? And it must be difficult if you don't have room to come and get changed in halfway through the night. Well, but now there's lockers, I guess you could just go. Well,
there's been lockers for forever. There were just sort of a big area. But I think that the trick is with VA in particular, and this is a slightly different club because the hot tub is one of the big draws of the place. It's this lovely big hot tub that can fit, 20 people or something in there. Maybe not quite that many. But it's the fact is that most people tend to come in and they're dressed smartly and sexily. Not sort of up to the nines. They're not all wearing, underwear or whatever straight away. Then people tend to get naked and then go in the hot tub, and then they tend to play in and out of the hot tub or whatever. So that it kind of, if you're planning to go in the hot tub, that kind of alters your plan a bit. But if you're not, then you want some nice underwear underneath. But also, if you are planning to get in, you don't want underwear that's going to take you 45 minutes to get out of.
It's a real conundrum, isn't it?
I don't think it's a massive conundrum.
It is for women, honestly.
Well, I understand where you're coming from.
Me and Penny Lane had the same debate. We were like, what do we do? What do we do? So in the end, we opted to come back up to the room halfway through the night if we wanted to, and change into something a little more frivolous.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely fine. I think that's probably a good compromise and way of doing it. I think, and to be fair, you both looked really lovely. So I don't think there was a bad choice made in any of those decisions.
No.
So
awesome.
We went downstairs, we paid up, because you have to do that when you come in, and then you get your locker key and all that sort of jazz. And we had a tour. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
we saw the guy that gives all the tours there.
Yeah, it's all good.
It was very nice to see him. Hello, by the way, if you're listening, thank you very much.
Am I allowed to mention the cat?
Yeah, well, I was going to come on to that. So as we were queuing up actually to get the locker key and all that sort of jazz, the cat, the infamous cat.
The resident cat,
whose name is?
Benji.
Yeah, we found out his name is Benji.
Ginger cat
came running towards Mrs. H, and she was over the moon happy.
Oh my God, I was so happy to see Benji again.
So there's a picture of you, I think it's on Instagram, of you cuddling the cat.
Oh, I love that cat.
And then it came and found you later on in the evening as well.
I know.
Made a beeline for you. I reckon you had some sort of
catnip in my bra.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I didn't.
Sardines down your pants.
I do remember the cat from when we went a few years back, and I remember being absolutely amazed that there was a cat wandering around his club.
There's a cat in my kitchen. What am I gonna do?
The cat's not a bother either. It's a well-behaved cat, and they will frequently rescue it and take it out of the environment.
It's not supposed to be in the play areas. No, it's not supposed to be in the play areas.
It's a beautiful cat,
but it is allowed, I think, in the sort of sitting down, chilling out areas.
Yeah.
So it did get dragged out a couple of times, which was quite funny.
That cat's lovely.
So as we were walking around post tour, just getting a drink, who do we bump into? Knowing that they're going to be there, is Slutty Pants, Mr. Slutty Pants, and then Slutty Pants' girlfriend.
Yeah. Now, I think, so we are able to refer to her as Booty82.
Booty82.
And Slutty Pants has been quite public on Twitter with her new girlfriend. She's lovely.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. So we met her, which was lovely. And then we kind of had this dilemma. Where do we go? There is no longer a library. He says, dropping to his knees and raging at the sky. So but we decided to go into the new couples area and grab some sofas that are in there.
Yeah, because it was still early on in the evening, I suppose, at this point, and the area was free. No one was actually properly down and playing anywhere yet. So we went and sat in the nice little areas where we could chat.
So we all started getting to know each other a little bit better, or reacquainting ourselves.
Yeah.
It was all very nice, very flirty, really fun. And then another couple came up who listened to the show.
Yes.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to play an audio clip for you. It goes on a little bit. Don't worry about that. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. And then we're going to be around here on the other side.
Cool.
Yeah? Of this audio clip.
Yeah.
Mrs. H is looking confused.
Always.
All right, play the thing.
Wait for something that's just for you. Holy shit, it's an interview.
So we're in Vanilla Alternative and we've got an amazing bunch of friends around us. So we thought we'd check in. We know that it's changed a little bit since we last been here, and we've got some people who have never been here before. So we thought we'd ask them what they thought of the place, how it's going so far. Mrs. H, your thoughts first, because this is the first time you've been back since COVID.
Yes. The cat is still here. That is the most important bit I've taken away from all this. The ginger cat is still a resident of the club. His name is Benji. Found out today his name is Benji.
And what has changed since this moment, since the pandemic, since we were last here?
All right, okay. The library area has changed significantly. So now it's kind of like a little dance area instead. So it used to be like all nice leather settees and like a little sort of library bit, and now that's changed into like a little dance area instead. And the BDSM area that you walk through has all changed. That's now like a little chill out zone, and that's moved to the other end of the place. Is that about right? Some big changes.
I think that's about right. Now, Penny Lane is with us today. Now, I've been told that you're not wearing any knickers. Is this true?
I am not going to divulge.
Okay, so this is your first time in the Vanilla Alternative. How are you feeling?
Without knickers.
Yeah, with or without knickers. How are you feeling with this?
It's not too bad so far, yeah.
Why are you whispering? You can talk in a normal voice.
I'm not whispering.
Okay. So there we have it. Quiet words from the delightful Penny Lane. We also have the incredible Slutty Pants with us here today, who's looking more and more scared about the fact that I have a microphone in my hand and not a penis.
And not a penis.
Yeah, and not a penis. So
Being in the club, like.
you've been in the Vanilla Alternative before. How does it feel to be back?
It feels really good. And even better now that I know Penny Lane has got no knickers on. And I'm sitting right next to her, so that is all good.
How are you able to tell that she is wearing no knickers?
Well, you just said she's got her legs very much crossed, so I can't see anything at the moment. But I'm hoping that she'll open them soon.
Well, this took a delightfully 0 to 10. Now, you have a friend with you. I'm not sure if you have a street name or a superhero name that we can use.
It's Booty. Her name's Booty.
Booty? Just Booty? Not
Booty 82.
Booty 82. Is that a reference on the finest of years or just an age?
Just an age.
So, have you been to the Vanilla Alternative before?
Yes, a long time ago though, so it has changed since I was last here.
Do you want to tell us about those changes?
There's looked good so far. It's a bit, yeah.
I think it looks better. There's more of
Yeah.
a dance floor,
Yep.
which before was a little dance floor. Now seems like there's two sides of the dance floor. Look, yeah.
More socialising areas. Good.
So we are sat in an area that's kind of got a whole bunch of sofas, a few beds that we can share, and it's really sort of nice and chilled back here. I am missing the library, I'm going to be honest. I used to be in the library.
Liked standing in the library area and telling ridiculous stories.
I can't even remember the library area. Like, where was the library area?
Right, breaking news.
Breaking news, so Star-Lord has returned with a number of goblets of gin.
What I need to say to what's that?
Star-Lord, what's in the gin?
That is. What's in the gin? It's gin.
What sort of gin is it?
Oh, Hendrix. Hendrix gin and tonic.
Okay, thank you.
More
Simple answers.
importantly, the gin and tonic is in a proper
Big-
glass.
Okay, so Mrs. H first was given a gin and tonic in a
just a
children's
tumbler.
glass.
Like you'd get squash
Yes.
in a glass like that. This is a grown-up drink,
Okay.
and it needs to be in a proper vessel, and it's now in a goblet. I'm really happy about that.
Okay,
It's much better.
Much
All
better,
right.
Thank you. We are happy.
okay, so how do we think the evening is going to go? I'm going to go around the room very quickly.
Well, I think it could go really well, depending on whether the rumour is true about Penny Lane's pants.
I don't know who started the rumour about the pants.
Is it true, though? I think it's true, ladies and gentlemen. She's saying nothing.
She's keeping her legs tightly closed, so I'm guessing it's very true.
In a strange turn of events, Penny Lane is keeping her legs tightly closed. How do you think the evening's going to go?
That's going to be a good evening.
It's going to get very messy.
And dirty. It's going to get quite naughty, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting a sense of that.
What do you think, Mr. Roach? Do you think it's going to be a naughty evening?
I think I've already started a level of naughtiness by spreading rumours about somebody's pants.
It was you who started it.
I know.
There you go, me innocently blamed for something that really wasn't my fault whatsoever.
It seems untrue. You always start rumours.
And now we'll wait for the gents to get back before we shove our microphones in their faces. So, what we found out today is that somebody has bought their partner a gin and lemonade when they should have bought them a gin and tonic. How do you feel about that?
I'm quite confused. I'm starting to question the meaning of everything.
Has your world just dropped to its knees?
It has.
Could you suck all of the lemonade out and replace it with tonic?
I think I might have to be honest, judging by the looks I'm getting.
She looks like she's really disappointed.
Although she is drinking your drink, so she's disappointed on your...
So, folks, it looks like I have a gin and lemonade to drink. Thank you very much for that children's drink.
Just
No, that would be very bad.
They do where he's from.
Yeah, if you want them to keep quiet, they do. Anyway, we've been talking about how the evening's going to go. How are you feeling about tonight?
Great.
Do you want to give us some more words other than just one? This is an audio format. They can't see you rolling your eyes to the back of your head.
I told you I was rubbish at this. How do I think it's going to go? Well, it's already very, very hot. And not just temperature-wise.
Is it because mostly I'm stood next to you?
It is.
Thank you. That's the only validation I needed.
Yeah. I mean, if you weren't here, we would have to, like, put the heating on.
Thank you. So, Star-Lord, what you said last time was incredibly shit. How are you feeling about the club now? I was led to believe that you like these sort of things in your faces. Come on.
I love these little kittens in my face.
Kittens in his faces. Right. Good evening, folks.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today. It's been delightful having you here, even though we've just spoken for these last 30 seconds.
have, yes.
Do you want to introduce yourselves? Feel free to use your superhero names.
So we are Dan and Kerry, sex people.
Ooh, hello, sex people.
We have spoken before.
We have many
We have,
times.
yep.
So, you've been to Vanilla Alternative before.
Yes, we have, yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Oh, we love the place.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What makes it different?
It's a bit more upmarket than everywhere else. It's very chilled. We really like this place.
And of course, the company that's there is absolutely shit.
Well, tonight, yes, worse than usual tonight, obviously. But
I mean,
yeah,
the tone has been lowered clearly tonight.
very much, yeah.
And yourself, coughing away there in the background. We're going to get you on. How are you feeling about Vanilla Alternative tonight? Are you down for a sexy night?
I'm definitely down for a sexy night.
Very
I'm
nice.
looking forward to the rest of the evening as it progresses.
Perfect. Thank you very much, folks. Hope you have a lovely evening. There we go. Thank you. So thank you to everyone who contributed to that audio clip. Some of you were much better than others. Just going to say and put that out there.
Oh, God.
Are you going to add anything to that?
Yeah, it was amusing. Highly amusing.
So all that microphone purchase work has
Totally
definitely
worth it.
paid off to bring you clips like that.
I mean, what can I say? The sound quality was great. But,
Thank you.
The quality of the actual spoken words.
was a little bit unusual, but that's fine. So that was a little bit of an insight into the sort of first moments where we're all sat down, we're having a drink and we're catching up while we're having some gin and lemonade for some unknown reason. Not sure why that happened. I'm going to blame someone, but I ended up with a bit of it and then it was a big confusing mess.
I was all good. I had my gin tonic.
So we sat down and chilled out for a bit. Occasionally, we sort of had a look around the various areas and sent scout parties out to see what was going on in the club and see if there was an available space for us to go in. We were quite keen on going on the hot tub.
Yeah, but it was constantly quite full, wasn't it? So we just kept coming back and like, no, not yet.
Well, every single space was taken. I don't think there was a spare space in the house.
No, and given that there were quite a few of us, so there was what, seven?
Seven.
Yeah. And we wanted to stay together as
The
a
magnificent seven.
We wanted to stay as a seven. We didn't really want to part and go off into little coupley bits or anything.
Well, no one had actually discussed any of that. I think it was quite clear that we were all sort of chilled out.
But we all kind of gravitated to the area together. And we kind of didn't really start splintering off and going anywhere. So there wasn't anywhere big enough, certainly, to accommodate the 7 of us. So we just carried on having a little chat. But then I think at some point, a few of our group went off to the bar together to get some drinks.
Yep.
Which left you and Penny Lane and myself on the settee together.
Oh, yes.
What
happened then, dear?
Well, then the 3 of us decided it was a good opportunity to share a kiss.
Yay! What really happened, though, while that was going on, was that the room practically cleared out.
It did empty a little bit, but maybe that's because people started gravitating towards the play areas because it was getting a bit later into the evening.
They were either horrified to see what was going on.
They were not.
Run! What are they doing? Or they just went and found other spaces. But it was quite funny because we turned around and the room was practically empty.
Wonderful.
Which was nice.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone was actually feeling the sort of spaces that were there, particularly for our group, and particularly because we already have shared some intimate moments with some of these people.
Exactly that. And plus me and Penny Lane did have a wander around, and bless her, she did look a bit like, I'm not sure I really want to go and jump on one of these beds in the open area. It was all a bit, no.
There was a lot of stuff going on. So I suggested or asked if everyone wanted to play with each other. I did that sort of announcement thing. I took the awkward, wow, but was a little bit more forwards. I kind of said, does everyone want to play with each other?
And everyone was like, yes.
Yeah. They didn't sound like that, but that was the,
But it was very clear.
And then I said, well, no one really wants to play down here, do they? No. Let's go to our room. And then we all decided to go to our room. So there was a bit of faffing around where people were getting changed.
Yeah.
People were kind of organising themselves, getting another drink.
Yeah.
And then all came up to our bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
What happened then?
So you may remember the big mirror I referred to earlier.
Yes, I remember the big mirror.
Yes. So the big mirror immediately, for me, became quite a focal point because when Miss Slutty Pants came into the room, we immediately embraced in front of the mirror because I was standing in front of it. And she was immediately, complimenting me because she hadn't seen me for a little while. And we decided at that point we'd just get straight on and start kissing.
So I came back to the room because I went next door to find Penny Lane and Starlord because
I did wonder where you.
Yeah, because they weren't in the room at this point.
Yes, that's right.
And I came back to find you in this sort of heated embrace, I think is the nicest way of putting it.
I was reacquainting myself.
Yeah, climbing her like a tree.
No, God. No, we basically kicked things off and started kissing, which was really hot.
And then, so I brought back Penny Lane and Starlord.
You did, yeah.
And everyone sort of integrated themselves into a gigantic puppy pile.
Do you know what? It literally everybody just fell onto the bed in various clinches, I think. It wasn't a kind of orchestrated, you go here and there and, let's organise this. It was just people found the lips of whoever they wanted to kiss next and fell into this glorious pile.
Yeah, it was very, there was no organisation to it and there was no game of lifestyle. It was very much, this is happening, everyone's cool, everyone's fine.
No one told you what to do or go over and kiss her or go and take some clothes off. It was a really organic, fluid kind of movement.
Yeah.
Everyone just embraced really naked or becoming more naked on the bed together, which was huge, as I said.
Yeah.
And it was genuinely big enough for all of us to fit on there relatively comfortably.
But this is where my patented open mouth technique came in and paid dividends.
Wait, what?
Like
a basking shark.
Yeah, like a basking shark. I'm going to keep moving forwards with my mouth
with
open.
Your mouth open and see what goes into it.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe.
I was going to say that's a bold move.
That's
Mr.
a very bold move.
One I didn't think you were ready to embrace.
No, and it's not one that I'm going to embrace. Thank you very much, dear. Speaking of that,
yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I do. So I've talked in the past about one of my most favourite things that I've had exposure to in this journey with you is I've been able to play with by men. Not very often, granted. In fact, really, there's only been one key experience that we've shared in the past that I've been able to do, which is with lovely Bradford and Angela, by the by. However, this time, 2 of the men in our group were both bi. So Mr. Slutty Pants, who I have to say has the most gorgeous smile. I have to give him a special mention for his beautiful smile.
He looks like he's permanently got the cream.
Oh, he is just a lovely, lovely, lovely man.
He's also very complimentary, so I'm all right with him.
He's got beautiful eyes and a beautiful smile.
Aww.
He's just adorable. Yeah, anyway. And of course, Mr. Starlord, who I've spoken about previously on a podcast because, very lovely man.
Mm-hmm.
And they are both bi and they both wanted to play together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gave them sort of 15, 20 minutes of just, they went off and did that in front of the mirror
like
again.
Jumping into the pile like Scrooge McDuck into coins.
So they started kissing and there was some oral happening in front of the big mirror I talked about. And I was still on the bed with Slutty Pants and Penny Lane and just generally on the bed in the pile.
Yeah.
And then after about 20 minutes, I kind of went over and asked them if I could be involved. And they were both very agreeable and they both were really, really open to me joining them.
And this left me in a pile of three ladies,
oh, you
right?
poor thing, with your open mouth basking shark technique.
Yes. What a terrible situation for Mr. H. I'm sure
Having
everyone
to
feels...
entertain the remaining ladies on the bed.
Universally sorry for him. So, laying on the bed. And I don't think I was having to do that much servicing. I think I became a focal point of attention for a little. Well, no, I'm just saying, I don't, like, for a while, I was just me lying there going, this is great. I am great. Well done, me.
So did you look over and see what I was doing, or were you just letting me crack on?
I think for a bit I let you crack on and have your moment because I know you wanted to kind of do that. And then I think Penny Lane hadn't really seen some of that stuff going on, and obviously,
and she was very keen.
She was very keen on seeing that.
Yeah.
So at one point, I kind of focused it so that she was able to see, but I was not. For my eyes were covered.
Your poor delicate eyes.
My poor delicate eyes were covered.
But to be clear, you're not offended by any of this.
No.
You've never really been. You've never shied away, or you just don't want to do it yourself.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, I'm not bothered about seeing two women get it on. I'm not bothered about seeing two guys get it on. It just doesn't
do anything
for me, particularly because I'm not involved, and I don't want to be involved in one of those scenarios. So I was kind of like, great, and I knew you'd be A, taken care of, but B, that you'd really want to be close up involved in that.
Yeah.
So and quite frankly, I was very happy in my pile of ladies, which is fine. So I wasn't upset. I wasn't worried. I didn't, it was just someone else doing something else for me. So it doesn't,
Yeah. I was very happy because I, two of us were giving Mr. Starlord a blowjob, and that was really hot.
Yeah.
And then I believe we switched around and we gave Mr. Slutty Pants a blowjob. And then there was lots of like three-way kissing, which is so erotic. And I just love the whole thing. It was just really, really hot for me, and especially as it was in front of this big mirror.
So it all was very much a soft swap, I say soft play, makes it sound like it's a...
Yeah, so there was no like penetrative sex going on at this point.
Well, apart from in your mouth.
Yeah, but it was all oral and...
There was no P and V and P and A, basically.
Not at this point, no. It was all nice, just a big puppy pile, as you say, of like soft swap situations.
Yeah.
And I got to spend some time with Slutty Pants, which was super hot. Because I've played with her before and I really wanted the opportunity to play again since the orgy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was playing with Penny Lane a bit here and there. So it was really not, at no point did I sort of stop and think, I'm bored. What do I do now? Everyone's playing without me.
That would be a terrible situation in the middle of an orgy.
I was constantly busy.
Yeah.
Like there was constantly something else to kind of turn around, and there was blanket consent with all of us. We were all very comfortable with each other, touching each other.
There was a lot of checking in as well, which I really liked.
Checking in. Like I said, I checked in with the two guys together and said, are you okay with me joining in?
And then you checked out with them.
So everyone was really, really comfortable, I think, with the level of play that we all had together, and nobody didn't want to play with anyone.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And we got to a point then where we wanted to go to the hot tub.
Yeah, it kind of evolved
down a bit.
I
don't think anyone wanted to go to the sort of full sex bit at that point. I think people were very much, let's chill out, let's go to the hot tub, let's get a drink, let's refresh, and then let's
come back upstairs maybe.
Well, yeah, let's see what's going on in the club, I think. Because we'd all paid to go to a club.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to
And
go and enjoy it to some extent.
Exactly that. So we went downstairs, and as we were there, we saw someone that was coming to our social.
Yay!
Yep, so we said a very brief 10 seconds
I know.
hello to them.
We didn't stop and say hello for too long. But to be fair, we were kind of with the party and we were moving.
In the 3 seconds or 10 seconds that we stopped to say hello, bloody Mr. Slutty Pants was already in the fucking hot tub, grinning from ear to ear.
I know. He was like a tramp on chips.
He was in there straight away. So we did excuse ourselves, and we're sorry if we didn't get a chance to say hello. You know who you are, but I'm sure we will do it sometime.
And he kind
very
of had
soon.
a space, didn't he? So
Yeah.
we were like, oh, quick, he's got a space in the hot tub. Let's go and get in there before we can see one.
Shuffled off like the old grannies from the Monty Python sketch. And got in the hot tub.
Yeah, and we kind of all took up one side
Yeah.
of it where there were 7 of us, and we all kind of lined up against the side and just chilled out together. And I think at this point there was some more, it's just like making out, kissing, but chatting as well. And
Yeah, it was all kind of it was a fun atmosphere. It was a bit strange because we were in a line. We weren't sort of as close as we all were on the bed.
Yeah.
And
so it naturally paired off a little bit.
Yeah,
didn't
there
it?
was a bit of pairing off. So I had Penny on my lap for quite a while,
Mhm.
and that was really fun. And because we're just sort of bobbing along in the water, there's the better be careful here because she's sat on my lap. Let's be really careful. And then I could see that you were starting to sort of get engaged with the 2 guys again a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I did. And I also moved around to the sort of a bit further down, and I started kissing Booty. And Miss Slutty
Quite
Pants.
literally.
Kissing Booty. So I pretty much, I think, made out of everyone in our group in that hot tub again.
Yeah. I think
we all did. We all kind of just chatted and kissed and chatted some more. And
yeah,
it was just all really nice. A nice pace. No one was kind of trying to get out and go to one of the play beds. It was just a nice atmosphere.
Well, it was kind of all starting to heat up, certainly down my end.
No, I think that's fair for the whole line.
But
we were all keen to play some more at that
well,
point.
I think we were starting to get somewhere, and then everyone was like, right, we're getting out the hot tub, and there was this mass exodus from our party, just going, and we were like, what the fuck's going on? Everyone's like going, and you were like, you just yelled at me, getting wrinkly or something, and then just pruny, and then everyone just pissed. So we're like, okay, we suppose we're getting out of the thing now.
Well, to some extent, actually. I was quite keen to get out because I wanted to go and play more.
Yeah.
And you can't really, you can play in a hot tub, obviously, but actually it's generally not my preference.
No.
You certainly couldn't have had sex in it unless you'd got some protection, and that would have meant getting out anyway.
True.
So yes, you could have had oral, but again, it kind of, it's not as comfortable. The idea of being in a hot tub making out is hot, but it's not comfortable, is it?
No.
Unless you kind of perch on a side or get water in your
And
mouth.
my immediate thought, as soon as I get out of a hot tub, is to wash all the hot tub scuzz off. So I did that straight away. I was very, very keen to.
Yeah, but there's showers at the side of the wet area, so that's good. We all had a quick shower, and then we all went upstairs again.
I had a nice little hot, sexy shower.
Well,
Thank
good for
very much.
you.
It was
Everyone
good.
else decided they wanted to go upstairs.
Oh, I know, but it was fine. It was all right. I understand. So we went upstairs, or went back upstairs. Then what happened? Last days at Caligula?
Yeah. Then it stepped up a notch, I think, because by this point, we probably only had about an hour left.
Because there's a
until-
kick-out point, basically.
Yes,
so if
I
you're
think
not a
2
house...
a.m.
Yeah.
You have to exit the club if you're not staying. So we were conscious that we had a couple of guests in our room that would have had to leave too. So we did kind of step up a little notch, and we carried on kind of where we'd left off in the bedroom. And again, I was making it with Miss Slutty Pants for a little while, which was super hot. And then I moved over to Mr. Slutty Pants at this point, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah.
And I think he might have been the first one to initiate.
Well, it was
some
a
sex.
race between you and Star-Lord.
Maybe.
And Star-Lord was playing with Slutty Pants at this point.
Yes, he was.
And I think between the 4 of you, you lot were like,
shall we have sex?
have sex. I was
And
just...
he did ask. He was very,
yeah.
can we do? And I was like, yes.
I
like,
think you asked,
absolutely.
I think.
No.
Yeah,
Well, there was an agreement between us.
Okay,
There was
fine.
definitely a conversation
It doesn't
and an
really
agreement. It doesn't
matter either way. So I was just playing with Booty 82.
Yeah.
Booty 2.
And I was I was having sex with Mr. Slutty Pants. I was kneeling and he was behind me.
So that was going on for a little bit. And then I was like, I've got to go up. and I've got to Eiffel Tower this dude.
Oh my God.
Because I know that when you like a cock in your mouth when you're being fucked sometimes, and I could see that you were looking really naughty.
Is that a statement you can commit to a t-shirt or something?
Something like that. So I handed because I was playing with Booty with a toy, so I handed over the Hot Octopus Digit to Penny Lane.
Yeah.
And then I came over and put my cock in your mouth.
You did.
Which you seemed to very much enjoy and seemed to certainly, the noises you were making certainly seemed to suggest that you're having some fun. So we did that for a bit, and then I moved around the side of the bed, and then I started fucking Penny Lane.
Okay.
Obviously, with a condom and everything else, and just
I thought you were going to say with my penis.
with my obviously with my penis.
Obviously.
But the funny thing about this is that we didn't have much space because the bed was just overrun with people. So
yeah.
So there was just no. So we had the weirdest angle known to man, sort of a deep squat, sort of 45-degree with her head bent. So, and we were also leaning on Booty as well. So it was sort of nice, but very uncomfortable for a long period of time. But then everyone sort of started sort of slowing down, which meant that some space freed up. But then we had that gloriously awkward moment of us two having sex, or Penny Lane and I having sex, and everyone kind of finishing because we'd sort of started much later.
Yeah.
So then we had that sort of like, well, do we carry on? But then Slutty Pants and Booty and Mr. Slutty Pants had to go. So I had to kind of put her down tools and be like, okay, all right, well, let's say goodbye. Let's be good human beings in this situation.
But I find this is always quite amusing in a way, because at no point do you have an unspoken agreement between parties, like, right, at this time we're all going to try and get to the finish line together, because you just don't.
No, of course you don't.
You just naturally evolve with the night and see what happens, and then if people come, they come. And that's that. However, you're right. At some point, you kind of get to a natural end where time just catches up with you and things have to stop. Because
it's now like 2:30 in the morning.
It's time that they had to leave. So,
and they did have to go, and he had to drive back because they weren't staying. So
yeah,
and I didn't want to keep them a penny later than we already had them because I didn't want it to be a dangerous drive. All that stuff. But I'm also like, hey, I was having sex, and this was all felt like it was getting somewhere, and we had to stop.
Yeah.
But so we did say goodbye to them. We were
we had some sexy goodbyes.
Some nice kisses. It was really nice to see them, sent them on their way. And then we're just sort of laying on the bed with Penny Lane and Star-Lord. And then just things start getting a bit sexy again.
I know. And Mr. Star-Lord, bless him, said, after idly sort of playing with me for sort of 10 minutes, and I was, to be fair, I wasn't sleepy, but I was lying down kind of looking comfy, I think. And he did say, how are you feeling now? And I took my glasses off, went, yeah, I'm good. I'm really happy. So then the four of us started playing again.
Yeah.
Round three.
round three. And that was really fun and sexy as well. And it was kind of like a nice coda to the end of the night.
Yeah, it was really hot, actually.
And then it was the end of the night, really. It just, like, time just ran away with us, I think.
I think it must have been 3, 4 by the time we went
I think
to
it was
bed.
about gone 3. Because by the time we went to bed, it was about 3:30, I think. So, but we had this really nice intimate little moment with them and just chilled out, and there was some sexy times, and then they had some sexy times, and I was just sat there playing with you, and it was just a really, really nice little wind down, I suppose, in that kind of way that it's like we're all a bit tired, we're all a bit sexy and a bit sleepy, and that kind of drifted off into the...
I mean, you say that because then when we went to bed, oh my God, I was literally wired.
Do you think
off.
it was the 4 or 5 espresso martinis that you consumed that may have kept you awake?
I think it was a combination of factors, really. I think it was an incredibly decadent night because there was a lot to take in, giggity, a lot going on.
Yeah.
A big, as I said, and I've said this before, it's an assault on my senses because every sense is occupied in a group situation like that. And, when we joke in the past about things resembling a Roman orgy, it's because it's sumptuous and decadent, and everywhere you look, your senses are filled with something, whether it be the sound of what's going on next to you or the feel, or all of it is overload on your senses. So by the time you do switch off and you finally switch that light out and it's just the two of you, you're kind of going, you're kind of reliving it all again and again, and you can't switch off from it sometimes. Not because I wanted to carry on having sex, but because I just couldn't switch my mind off. And I was overtired, overstimulated, over-caffeinated probably, probably dehydrated a little
Plus,
bit.
you're sleeping in a different bed, and it's noisy next to a road.
It was a different temperature. It wasn't my own bed. Tons of reasons, and I could not, for love nor money, go to sleep for a good hour and a half. I just lay there, kind of my mind ticking furiously, and eventually, I obviously must have drifted off because you do. But it was a very fitful sleep, and I was constantly kind of waking up and. Yeah, I felt quite knackered when we got up the next morning. Woke up.
We woke up and then we had some sexy times, which is always really nice to reconnect.
Yeah, and it's always nice to reconnect straight away if we can. Like, whilst we've gone to bed and then we wake up together, and then it's really nice to reconnect. Then it's always harder sometimes if you have to have a separation and then reconnect later. Although it's still lovely, it's nice to do it straight away.
Yeah. It really was. What was really nice as well is that because Penny Lane and Starlord had stayed the night in the hotel as well, we were able to grab some lunch with them and some breakfast. Actually, they made us a nice cup of coffee. We did, and we were able to debrief. And one of my, it's swiftly becoming one of my most favourite things to do with our friends is actually like talk about the night before and talk about the events and how it felt. How was this for you? What went on? How did you learn this stuff? Or all this kind of thing. These kind of feelings that you're going through, but with the perspective of other people. Rather than just us two. And we had a really good debrief on the journey home because it's a good couple of hours for us. But actually, it was nice to have that lunch and then. Do that. We also had a third debrief as well that day, which was fantastic because Secret Stag and Secret Vixen, wah, 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 it's the klaxon again. We caught up with them in the evening on the battlefields of Fortnite and whatnot, and they were telling us about some of their adventures and what they'd been up to, and we were sort of catching them up on all the gossip from the night before. And they hear it first. Apparently, they got like the ultimate patron statement. But it was really good just to talk all of that stuff through because it was an assault on the senses, and a good assault. But it was also there was lots of stuff that went on. There was lots of moments that we kind of reflected on, and there was kind of stuff like what would we do differently? What worked really well? What was really hot? All this kind of stuff. So I felt that by the time we got to sort of bed on Sunday night that we'd kind of gone through everything. I kind of had all the stuff and I dumped it out of my head. I wasn't over reflecting. I wasn't overstimulated. I just felt really comfortable. It was also really nice actually when we got home. Again, we were able to jump into bed and just chill out and have some sexy times. And that was really important again because we've talked about all this stuff and we felt really sexy because we've been talking about it, and then we're able to go and do the sex on each other again.
I think one of the biggest takeaways, I think I've said it in the past to you, very often during these experiences, I don't climax. I don't often get there if there's multiple people involved.
Yeah.
And it's not for one moment because I'm not finding the environment sexy, and it's not because I'm not enjoying myself. I'm just simply too stimulated. My mind is too overstimulated for me to actually focus on getting anywhere.
But you quite like a quiet room with
I like
and like a certain level of stimulation.
I do.
And an ability to not blank out but zone out a little bit.
Zone out.
Yeah.
So I think the point I'm getting to really is that I kind of bank the experience in my mind. I kind of keep it all in my head.
Yeah.
And I obviously go through the experience. It's all good fun, and I love.
Do you have a mind tunnel like Darren Brown?
I like giving pleasure in those moments, and I'm very conscious if other people are enjoying it to a happy end, then I'm very happy to be involved and part of that. But I know myself, I'm not particularly worried or concerned or upset if I don't. So what I do find though is later on during that whole reclamation piece with you and that reconnection, is that's when I relive the experience again, and that's when I get the benefit from the sexual experience.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. It kind of all comes back to me in like floods of images, and I remember what we've done and I remember how it made me feel, and that's when it kind of comes back, and it is something obviously that I do enjoy. but I just don't necessarily get there in the moment.
No, I understand that. And often if we're at a certain place and we can get away and bring you to that place where you can relax and get there, that's really helpful. But often that's not until the next day that happens, and that we get that moment to reflect with each other and just chill out and help you get to that zone. But it's really an interesting one, because I know you reflect on it a lot, and I know that often for days afterwards you'll be going, oh, what about this, or oh, that was really hot, or that was quite nice.
Yeah, completely.
I think especially with the experience where you were able to interact with the two bi guys as well. That's quite a flashing moment, and you really like the ladies that were involved as well.
Yeah.
So I know that over the last few days you've certainly been thinking about that, and it's been on your mind, and it's really interesting to see that flashes up for you. Whereas I like to get the story out and get the story sorted in my head, and then I can think about it. But it was also really nice that we were able to take some fantastic pictures as well, and especially as there some very keen photographers in the room. So whilst we didn't take tons of pictures, there's enough there to go, oh, that was hot, or oh, that was cool, or that was fun, or that was funny. And have those memories and make those connections again. I think that's really cool, especially with the following couple of days where we're sharing those pictures with each other and people that went that were there at the time as well. That's awesome.
And I think it all brings it back to when you enjoy the experiences that you do with the people that you make those great connections with, you then realise and fall in love all over again with why you do it.
Yeah,
I think it's been when it works, it works.
Yeah.
And you think this is great.
Definitely. It really is. So I think in summary, VA, the club, still very nice. There's some challenges around privacy that if you're new, you might not be too sure about.
But if you are a spectator sport, then you might love it.
Yeah, you might absolutely love
it. Or an extrovert.
Equally, if you are a bit that way, then you might want to book yourself a room and stay there. So at least you've got a retreat that you can go back to, but still come back down to the club if you want to. So I'd say it's still our favourite club at the moment.
Yeah.
Perfect. Go and visit if you can. In terms of the evening, it was just really hot, really sexy. Yeah. Really nice to meet Booty 82, who we hadn't met before, but also really nice to meet all those other people that we stay in touch with all the time. And, I'm really keen to, in fact, we get to see them again, or at least most of them again, at our social.
In less than 2 weeks.
And that's going to be fantastic.
Yes.
So by the time you come back to our next show, we'll probably be talking about the social, because we haven't talked about it enough yet. We'll probably give you all the gossip around what happened behind the scenes. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of stories that we can tell.
Yeah.
Cool. Mrs. H, do you want to do your thing?
Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.
So we are now in the morning after the night before.
Hello. I'm alive. Was that good?
Well, it's not good material.
Well, what do you want me to say? Sticking that in my face. You didn't really lead with a good question. There was no question. It was an unquestion.
You're an international podcast star. You could have come up with more words that were entertaining.
Or do you want to say, I've got a JJ like roadkill? That's not true.
I'm really looking forward to going back home and having sex with my wife now.
I don't. It's not. I was actually.
Is it more like a punched lasagna?
No, I only had one sexual encounter there.
No, you didn't.
All right. One cock.
No, you didn't.
Wait, no. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, God.
And Mrs. H, for reference, who was the other one?
Sake, stop.
Whose cock have you forgotten?
I don't forget a cock. Don't put me on the spot. Why don't you ask Star-Lord some questions?
Did we or did we not have sex today?
Oh, today, yes, we did.
There we go, listeners.
life has drifted away from me. Yeah,
Forgettable bean.
If you want an experience that you can forget about mere hours after it's happened, please come and see me the next time you're around.
Hours. It was like 10 a.m. or something. I don't know.
She's still gaping from the experience and has forgotten it already.
How about you? Did you enjoy your night last night?
Was that the question I was asking you, was it?
That's the question I'm asking you now.
I had a lovely evening. I think it was really nice to catch up with some friends and to make some new ones as well. I really like going around the club. I wish I'd have gone around the club a little bit more because it felt like we stayed very much in our group. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it would have been good just to kind of have a look around and get a feel for the club.
I did. I had a good look round. There was lots of ball slapping and stuff. So I came back to the area again. We did a circuit. We did do a walk around and there was just lots of like action going on. So we came back to the sanctuary we'd created.
See, I kind of felt that we probably sort of isolated ourselves as a group, which is absolutely fine. So it felt like we'd come as a party, which we did later, locked down marked our turf, like spraying like mountain lions, and then kind of literally went up to our room, played a bit, then went to the hot tub, took over that for a bit, and then everywhere we went, people were leaving, which probably says a lot about us. And then we came back up here. So I don't feel like I had a club experience, but I do feel like I had a really good experience with friends.
What would a good club experience look like to you then?
I think
you feel like we didn't get that.
I'm not disappointed that I didn't have that experience. It just felt like to be fair, we could have rented an Airbnb and had very much a similar experience.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice to see the club, but I don't feel like I went round or kind of spoke to people or interacted with anyone. Not that I needed to, but I think if anything was missing, that would be the bit that was missing for me, I think. That and having a partner who remembers having sex with me.
Wow.
Yes?
Remind me again later.
Well, do another forgettable experience sex on you. Brilliant. Thank you for that.
Of course I remember.
Okay, so last night we interviewed a few people. Hopefully the quality of that audio has panned out okay. Yeah. Pardon me, he says. Poor microphone habit, but, we're in a hotel room with a stick and a microphone stuck to it. Last night we spoke to the incredible Star-Lord and he gave us his thrilling insights into his evening. Mr. The Lord, how was your evening?
It was very good, thank you very much.
There we go, thanks. Very fantastic effort, great commentary. What were your highlights of the evening?
The trees. Highlights of the evening.
When we arrived, feeling like we'd come to a dogging hotspot. And
not being able to get into the hotel was one way to introduce yourself to the club. Yeah.
What are other ways to introduce yourself to a club? I think we've broken him. He's not working anymore, folks. You're not going to... Okay, we'll head to the eminently more talkable Penny Lane. Okay, what was your highlight of the evening?
All the sex.
There we go. Many words, a couple of many, many words. So between us, we've got two people who can't talk and one person who can't remember. I will be providing all of the entertainment for this morning's clips.
I do remember the sex.
Okay, and what was the sex? Tell us more about it.
There was lots of naked bodies in one bed.
You sound like someone who doesn't remember sex.
There was...
Hang on. No. How much anal sex did you have last night? She seems to be avoiding my microphone. She's thinking back to remember, can I walk okay this morning? Did I have anal sex last night? There is a head shake going on.
I did not.
But that's all you had to say. It's not like a trick question. Did you have sex with a lot of people last night?
Yes.
Fucking hell, there's a reason why we don't have so many guests on these days. I tell you, they just can't get the quality. Yeah. Well, thanks very much for joining us today. Hopefully their actions are going to speak louder than their words, and, we'll see you all soon. Fucking hell.